It's early morning here at Bramblewood Station in the beautiful Blue Valley, and it's an overcast day under a beige plasterboard sky. The first train that pulls up is the restaurant train, but nobody gets on because everyone is waiting for the passenger train so they can get to work. Now passes a big yellow diesel pulling some goods carriages, but that's not stopping here. These goods need to be delivered somewhere. Then up in the up line, another goods train passes, a big green diesel with a bright yellow nose pulling several carriages, including the Royal Mail and some motor rail cars. After it stops temporarily in the station, the restaurant train pulls away. All those buffet cars, and not one person on board, pass the yard and around the bend. Then on past the little village centre. Count those buffet cars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So much capacity, so little demand. Then on to the back straight where it speeds up, running like clockwork, which it really isn't. But look, the big yellow diesel is ahead, running to the tunnel. It's a race. The BYD gets there first. The buffet train on the faster track. The question is, why did they build a track there, right through that big rock? They pass the cottage and lovely apple tree, the BYD tailing off to the left, the restaurant car heading deep into Blue Valley. But the track takes it straight back into Bramblewood Station, right past the spooky tree, and it's going fast. Onward it goes, through the station, passing all the waiting, now presumably hungry, passengers. Once more, it races through the village, the shorter goods train going in the opposite direction, back to the station, never slowing, never stopping. What's the point? Ah yes, the village, Bramblewood Square, so called because it's shaped like a triangle. A very dangerous place, built so close to a busy railway. Luckily, it's completely frozen in time, totally inanimate. Back at the station, and the big yellow diesel passes through. You can see it's pulling its carriages of goods to offload somewhere and sometime, but who knows where or when. Is the driver lost? He's just going back and forth, round and round, round and round, round and round, round past the rail crossing where a lone driver patiently awaits for the gate to open. But the big yellow diesel was already rounding the top curve and is now coming back down past the station. Lights on, trundling ever onward, never stopping, always moving, every carriage dutifully following its leader. Back around the curve and once more over the crossing, the cars never getting a chance to cross, destined to wait forever and ever, just sat staring at that big red spot. Or it might be they had no drivers. And as if playing out some sort of Groundhog Day scene, the big yellow diesel passes through the station again, all its coupled assortment of goods tightly arranged, the onlookers in awe at the sight, still waiting for their own passenger train to arrive and pick them up. But they only see the fast-running and completely pointless empty buffet train speeding through on the down line, followed by the big green diesel on the up line. Just as fast, just as lost, then the BYD again, presumably that one made in China. And look, now the queues are building at the crossing. A red and white van has joined the queue. But look, behind the restaurant carriages are taking a break, presumably for lunch. But the line isn't clear. There's another goods train running, a grey and white unit, also passing the station without stopping. Whilst in the distance the Chinese BYD approaches, and finally on the up line the passenger train finally arrives. But doesn't stop. What on earth's going on here? Just seconds later, it's the big green diesel on the same up line. Just as well the passenger train didn't stop. If that had hit the passenger cars, there would have been a certain disaster. Luckily, the ever-running BYD has the inner track to itself. But that's the big green goods one back on that busy up line. What happened to the passenger train? Did it get overtaken? Back to that should have been bypassed rock tunnel, and the big yellow diesel was still making its way through. Look there, it's a passenger train, running back on the track, the same one as used by the big green diesel. Off it goes towards the village triangle. The train's still empty as it hasn't had a chance to stop for passengers. Around it comes past the yard and towards the platform. But no, it's the goods train. What on earth is going on here? It's a nightmare. As soon as it's past, the passenger train arrives. Will it stop? Not at that speed it won't. Just straight on through. What sort of crazy timetable system is operating here? Just as the grey and white goods train passes on the down line. Don't say he's lost as well. This mess just needs to calm down a bit. The big green one on the up line, going like a train. And there's the restaurant train, back from lunch. Well, at least the spooky tree is still there. That's one thing. The village is passed by the billions of buffet cars. The race with the BYD continues. The goods trains coordinate through the station. It's all happening here. Hey, there goes the grey and white diesel again, with every single one of its many differing goods carriages dutifully towed past the quiet village. Just look at all the 1960s cars. They were probably new when this service started. Oh, and there's the restaurant car having another stop for the driver's afternoon tea break, no doubt. Back down comes the passenger service. You know the one that gets to pick up passengers past the village in the massive Renault 5 Turbo, up past the train parking yard and towards the station platform. Will it stop? Will it hell? That's no way to run a service. Even I know that. There you go, straight through towards the far end of the valley. The grey and white goods train passes by the eerily static and blue carpeted village triangle again, trundling ever onward to a track to nowhere, once more passing by the restaurant cars, still at rest in its favourite siding. And here comes the passenger train, coming back round again, as empty as ever. Will the passengers ever get on? Or will compensation form be needed? On and on they go, the green and yellow diesel passing the yellow one on the up line, itself still circulating. Hang on, it's through the rock again already. Is this a time vortex or just bad editing here? It's racing the buffet cars again, this time heading back past the platforms, with the passenger train still speeding past, resolutely ignoring its paying customers. Ah, another view, low down trackside, floating in the big lake upon where the tracks run, watching the restaurant train rolling past a frankly understandable empty platform where a dubious handcart has been abandoned since the 1920s. Then, on the up line, the big green diesel trundles past. Now an aerial view from our tiny drone, which catches it passing the restaurant train again, before it rolls around the far part of the valley. Back down past the restaurant train, taking yet another break, where we also see the van has given up their weight at the crossing. Not surprising, the big yellow diesel is still going strong. Someone really needs to write to the council. The buffet cars pass the village. The BYD passes the station whilst negotiating the tunnel, racing the restaurant train. The passenger train goes past the village at high speed, followed by another one going the same way. That's not right. The BYD passes the apple tree. A third passenger train heads towards the village. What are these, buses? As fast and empty as them all. Who's running this timetable? The BYD through the tunnel again. I'm sensing a letter to my MP is needed. At least there's some peace by the cottage for a small moment. And look, the restaurant train is slowly pulling up in the station. But it's morphed into the grey and white's good train. That's weird. At least the big yellow diesel was reliably pounding round and round unchanged. The big green one once more passes the restaurant train, now no longer a grey and white diesel. Taking a look at the upper valley loop, we see the passenger train on the up line, Whilst back at the station, the BYD is looping round faster than ever, as are two more. You can't be taking these curves at this speed. I hope there's some emergency services on standby. Ah, good. They'll be needed soon if someone doesn't put a stop to all this dangerous activity. Look, 3 trains fully past the 3 platforms in just 3 seconds. Then 2 more swoop carelessly right through the village triangle. Wow, look at the speed they're going round now. That's no way to run a service in this quiet little valley. The timetables must be spinning like wildfire. They'll lose their licences. It's utter madness here. Does wildfire spin? Whichever way you turn, everywhere. They're all at it now. There's no exceptions. This way and that, even faster and faster. This is not going to end well. That's it. I'm calling international rescue. Hey, what was that ominous shadow? I've never seen anything like it. Chaos at Bramblewood Station.